but broadcasting. Okay.
It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour. Time for you to expect something wonderful.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Mark Husson's Astrology Hour coming to you live on Monday, September 15th. It's 8 a.m. Pacific. It's 11 a.m. on the East Coast. How are you? You guys look amazing. People in the room already. I can't wait to say hi to you. I have so much to do and say that it is ridiculous, but please let me give some shout outs before we get started. We see Truly in the house. Hi, Truly. And Annie, I can't believe you're here. Annie Crow, you guys, she's responsible for so many of the t-shirts that you've been raving about. And Annie is a dear friend, long-term friend, has come and stayed with John and I for many, many years. It's good to have you in the house, Annie. Thank you so much for being here. Diana, thank you. Good to have you here. Nadine, always good to see your smiling face. Hi, Liz. So nice having you here. Hi, Arlene. Welcome. Pamela Snow, thanks for coming, Pamela. Terry Campbell's in the house. Anne, you're here. Thank you for coming. Good morning. Carolyn Ferris is here. Thanks, Carolyn. Erica, so good to have you. I love your show. Erica has the show before me. She's over in the UK. If you haven't heard the show, you are missing out. What a gifted person. She's part of the 1-2 team, the 1-2 Listen team, as is Terry, as is Carolyn. So many of them are so sweet to come visit. Thank you, Erica, for being here. She says, also Mercury in Libra and Venus in Virgo. This is my natal chart. We're going to talk about that. That is true, Erica. It's true. Thank you, Anne. I love it. I'm so glad that you do these, Mark, sharing your vast knowledge. That's so sweet, Becky. Thank you. I say that hesitantly, but that's so sweet. Good morning from Tara in Alberta. Hi, Tara. Welcome, Tara. Tara. That's right. My first doggy. I think I always say that when I see you. Hi, Laura. Thanks for coming, you guys. Thank you so much. Listen, it's a crazy day. It's a Cancer moon. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's a Cancer moon. Cancer moon. I have so much to talk to you about charts, about putting them together, about how we put them together, because I think it's going to be really important. This eclipse is fascinating, and I was doing some reading today. Liz Green has a book out called Manifestation in Horoscopes, like in the horoscope, and the whole thing is, and if you don't know who Liz Green is, she's a Jungian astrologer. She's one of the most revered among those of us that study astrology. I fantasize that, I was her like co-teacher someday. Never would happen. She's brilliant. I mean, she's the kind of brilliant that's like, okay, put it away for a minute. Now, what did you say? That kind of brilliant. But she talks a lot about projection, educating us from the Jungian perspective of what projection is. And a lot of us use it as a weapon, like you're projecting, when we say things we don't want to hear from somebody else, or when we say things to sort of like remind somebody that what they see is what they're projecting. Now, it's not untrue, but I think we've sort of done it the same thing to the word projection like we've done to the word karma. We sort of belittled it a little bit too much. We've used it and abused it so much that we forget the true magic of it. And projection is something that we do since we're children, like infants, the minute we come here. It's the mind's way, the only way the mind has of putting us in the world, of entering us into the world. How do I know I'm in the world? I see this mom coming at me. I see a mother figure. I don't know it's my mom, but it means food or it means death. I mean, I don't know what it means. I don't know. And then eventually it starts meaning like, I feel something when I see her. And if I'm really happy, I see her smiling back at me, I suddenly realize happiness. Like there's a way we start putting together who we are in this crazy mind, and the brilliance of consciousness, how it awakens, right? It's just, and we bastardize it a little bit by going, you're projecting. It's okay. I do it. But the point of it is, when you're looking at a horoscope, when you're looking at a chart, when you're looking at these planets, they are one little key, possibly for many of us, to look at what our projections are, like to uncover them. So like when you have, a lot of you understand Saturn returns and a lot of you understand planetary games, right? You might have Saturn doing something and you're really scared of it, or the Mercury retrograde, things like that, and it's affecting your chart. A lot of that is a piece of the projection puzzle, that when the planet sort of hits, when there's this aspect happening in your chart, when there's a movement in your chart, we have an opportunity to see the nuance of projection in front of us. We have an opportunity to see pieces of a puzzle coming back together, and it's amazing. If we really used it, it's kind of amazing. Now, I don't have time for all of that, right? I don't have time to look at my chart, every nuance, everything that happens. But what I do have time for is when a big life event happens, looking back at that little piece of me that came through, and how it came through and how it was represented. Now, we don't have to learn astrology to understand all that. What we can do, though, is learn from these big events that are happening, that do happen, and put them in our charts in a way that we see our psyche sort of speaking to us. And last week, I talked about using the world as a dream, right? That every component of what happened out here as if it was a dream we were having. It's a really important process to do because I think it helps us understand that we are sort of like, in a way, the creators, the inventors of this reality that we have, because projection is all we're doing, right? I'm seeing something out here. I'm seeing myself in it. I'm seeing an ugly part of myself, but I'm seeing it as you. Or I'm seeing a gorgeous part of myself. I'm seeing it as you. And it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter that it is or isn't. What matters is the consciousness is talking to us. It's like we're never going to put it together fully, but part of integrating the wholeness of who we are, part of losing the fear that's going on around us, that where something's being done to us, is by owning that something is actually, I am doing something, and it's simply reflecting back to me an information that I could use. It's so wonderfully empowering. If you guys experience fear, because you don't know what's happening in the world and you don't know how you're dealing with that fear, is basically components that you can use to understand yourself so much more deeply. And by understanding yourself, you have an opportunity to come in and embrace and work with that understanding. And we'll talk a little bit about that. You know, I always do. I always do. I want to check on you guys real quick. Because a lot of people came in. So I want to give a shout out where I can. So Lenny's in the house. Thanks, Lenny, for being here. Sarah, thank you for coming from Houston. Jennifer's here. Thanks, Jennifer, from Cornwall, the UK. She's probably a neighbor of Erica's, I would imagine, right? I mean, don't all you Brits know each other? I'm just teasing. Serena's here. Serena, thank you so much. She's so sweet. This girl. Yeah, Serena, big hugs to you. Lori, good morning. Love you guys from the land of Oz, Central Kansas. Used to be in Denver, I know. Lori was with us when we were teaching live. I remember you fondly, Lori. Thank you so much for being here. Penny, hi, welcome. Karen E is in the house. Karen Erickson. She retracted that statement. Whatever it was there, it's okay, Karen. Hi, Mark and family from Lenny. Lenny's here. She said a few minutes late. Never late, Lenny, never. Pamela, I hope people aren't as spicy as they were last week. Really? Okay, so Pamela, what's going on with your psyche? We're going I was going to say, are we projecting? But that's okay. If it's in your reality of spicy, we look at the aspect. That's the spicy aspect, right? And they're playing it out for us. That's what happens. We can start looking at the world that way and not use it as like, well, you're just projecting your spiciness. No, there's a spicy aspect happening, and we get players to play it out for us sometimes, right? I mean, let's start thinking that way just for fun. See what happens. Christine Dumartier is in the house. Hi, Christine. Good to have you here, sweetheart. Patty, thanks for coming. Okay, Cosmic MC, hi. Karen E, good morning, Mark. And my birthday is the 19th. Oh, Karen, your birthday's the 19th. Yes, you're a Virgo, aren't you? Today, Venus conjuncts my Venus, Mercury conjuncts my Pluto, and my Sun. Right now, the moon is, look at her, so in touch. See, Karen, that's the Virgo mind, you guys. Karen, good for historic notes, but that's very powerful. And that Venus conjunction, ooh, juicy. I love those things. Hi, Carla, welcome. And happy birthday, Karen. Happy early birthday. I love that your birthday's around the eclipse. That's so good. Quelly, thanks for coming. And Jennifer, yes, Erica is a good friend. I love it. I can see, I'm envious. I love that. Erica came here. We've had like, you know, history's amazing. Time's amazing, isn't it? I mean, and the consciousness, it makes me think of the consciousness so much. This part of our brain that puts images and sews them together, and we weave together this story. And the story gets told constantly to us in a way, if we want to use it, that we can grow from, that we can be a part of, that we can use our psyche. Now, here's the interesting thing. I did this thing I discovered today that I could do with the chart, and I want to show it to you. So I'm going to bring the chart on in big time. And you'll notice that there's an absence of a lot of things, because I am going to start filling them in slowly for us as we learn about what's happening in the sky. Now, look at this. This is the day of the eclipse. There is an eclipse, by the way, you guys. It comes Sunday, the 21st. It's at 12:54 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so you guys in the UK figured that one out. It's going to be later for you. Like it's going to be more like 7 or 8 at night, right? It's a new moon. So that means that the moon is going to come in front of the sun, and then it's going to cast a shadow on the earth. That's one of the ways we know it's an eclipse. So this is what it looks like. It's 29 degrees. 29 degrees. Let's talk a little bit about 29. A lot of you know about 29. And I still have the room up so I can see you guys talking. You can't see me, but you can see the chart. So I'm just rearranging things here in a minute so I absolutely can see if any questions come up. Okay, so this 29 degrees, the moon is going to be at 29, the sun is going to be at 29, they meet and then they cast a shadow on the earth. Now, 29 degrees is one of the last moments you can have in any sign. So this 29, down here are the minutes, and the minutes go like a clock, to 59, but they're not real minutes. It's a time thing, but still same thing. And they move fairly quickly. So the day, Sunday, this is what the moon and the sun are going to look like for the eclipse. Now, if you were doing Sabian symbols that we talked about, where you look up what the Sabian symbol is that Dane Rudyard put together, or even Mark Edmund Jones did a more futuristic version. If you looked it up, you would look up 1 degree Libra, believe it or not. You go to the sign next, 1 degree Libra, because that's what's next. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because this is in your chart. That 29 is going to exist somewhere, okay? And wherever Virgo is probably in that house for you. So you look on the outside wheel here, and you see that Virgo is on the outside here. So going counterclockwise, you dump the planets into that little section for your chart. And you don't have to be an astrologer to do it. I'm not even worried about that. Don't worry about any of that. What I want you to see is that the next out, if we move ahead a day, which I'll do, watch what happens. The sun is at 0 Libra. The moon's already at 11 because we went 24 hours, but they move into 0 Libra, air sign. So now what that means, basically, what I want to talk to you about is if we bring in, if this is considered to be 1 degree or 0 degree Libra, okay, that's all I want you to just think about that, because you realize it's just next door to the sign of Libra before it changes. If I bring Pluto onto the screen here, check this out. Pluto's at 1 Aquarius. What does Aquarius and Libra have in common? They're air signs. And look at this. That's not all. Bam. Wait a minute, not that one, this one. What's that? 1 degree of Gemini. What does Gemini and Libra have in common? Air. What does Gemini and Aquarius have in common? Air. And that means basically, you guys, that this eclipse is part of a grand trine of air. I'm talking, they are so close together, it's ridiculous. Now, we'll talk about what a grand trine in air means, but it basically, it sounds as good as it is. It's a good thing. And if you're an air sign, you're going to love this energy, because what it does is it basically allows you to go from just an idea to an inspiration, a thought, an act of change. It allows things to flow smoothly. The bad part about it, and let me come back to you, the bad part about it, and there isn't anything, I mean, and I mean bad in quotes, is that basically it can lead to a little bit of obsession. It can be overly thinking. And so that's our focus today. I want to talk to you about where this is in your chart. We'll go sign by sign. We'll talk about it. And I'm going to do it by moving the chart. I'll show you the chart. We're going to put each one of your signs on the rising sign so you can visually see where the power of this is. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but we also had a Saturn sitting there at 28 degrees of Pisces. And if you know anything about astrology, you know that Pisces and Virgo are direct opposites. So we have a Saturn opposition happening for the eclipse. So not only do we have a grand trine, we have a opposition. And it looks like a big peace sign. If we drew lines to that, it would literally be the peace sign, right? Think about it. Two things coming together to a point a little wider than a peace sign, but yeah, a peace sign. So here's the thing about an opposition. First of all, 29 degrees of Virgo is the most mental you can get of the Virgo signs. Okay, so if your sun is at 29, it's the most intense. If anything in your chart is at 29, it's the most intense. It's the combination of all of that energy of that sign compacted, okay, at 29 degrees. So this eclipse isn't like weak. It's strong. It's strong Virgo energy. If you take the strength of Virgo and you put it together, it is a certain kind of, the best part of Virgo, service to humanity. The worst part of Virgo, what do you think that is? The critic. okay? The critic who shuns the world, who has made their decision. It's righteousness in its worst case scenario. That's the worst part of Virgo. The best part of Virgo is a form of Mother Teresa, if you take her personality out of it, is that form of giving where it's selfless and real. But you got that combination possible in that 29 degrees. So that's in the air, okay? We're building to that. Now, because this is a new moon, the moon is going to be in front of the sun, blocking the light. What do you think that means for our energy? You remember new moon energy, we get a little depressed. We lose light. Because this is an eclipse, it's a powerful one. So at the moment of the eclipse, then it pops, okay? So we're going to watch ourselves this week. We're going to keep an eye on you. And I want you to watch that part of your life where Virgo is and see how you're doing. Are you weeding people out? Are you weeding life out? Are you sorting through the chaff? Are you volunteering? What are you doing with that Virgo energy? And it's not a choice you get to make. Let me put it that way. Basically, you'd be better off just watching what your life does to understand the projection that goes on. What is Saturn doing opposite that? Let's talk about Saturn and Pisces for a minute. Wherever Saturn is, that sign is super sensitive. Wherever your Saturn is, you're super sensitive. If you have Saturn in Pisces, if you were born with this transit, many of you were, some of you are like in the 50s, late 50s right now, for your second Saturn return, and some of you are late 20s for your first Saturn return. If you were born with this, there is a thing about intimacy that's very powerful for you. You could see yourself going all the way in and merging completely with somebody's self-interest or their life, or you could see yourself saying no to anything that looks like it's going to connect you. And that bounce is Saturn learning, because Saturn's very awkward as it learns a sign, okay? I'm just seeing comments. Okay. Thanks, Lori. Gifting friends with money and donating. Yeah, Lori Quelly says she's a Virgo rising, finding herself gifting money and donating. Yeah. See, that's the generous part of Virgo, and never with themselves. Virgo's like really any part of Virgo, rising, moon, sun, any part of Virgo is pretty tight with themselves and pretty generous with other people. So when you hear Virgo and frugalness, like when we run a sale, Kat and I will talk sometimes and wink about, because she has Virgo rising. We like when it's a Virgo moon, we got to have a sale because, you know, Virgos won't treat themselves. We got to really make it a strong sale. You just got that kind of thing. Okay, so Saturn says, I'm really sensitive to this energy, and it's sloppy. That's why I always say Capricorn risings, you can be awkward. You don't have to be, but if you're Capricorn rising, Saturn on the ascendant, I have Saturn on the ascendant, I'm so awkward. You've heard my stories. Some of you don't believe them. It's awkward to meet people new for the first time. It's an insane idea to me that I'm here talking to you remotely, that I'm actually talking to you. I remember the terror of the thought of being able to, like, I'm not going on the air. No way. Okay. Saturn is awkward. It opposes the Virgo. Okay. It opposes that Virgo sun and moon. And what is an opposition? But two compatible elements. You hear that? Compatible elements. Virgo is earth. Saturn is in water, and they're compatible. And so Saturn is basically in this opposition saying, how can I help? But be careful, I'm in Pisces, you know, like I could overdo it. And the Virgo moon goes, I don't know if I want you here. And you have to come together to create an energy greater than just that individual whole. So we are doing the opposition of the eclipse, which means a couple things. An opposition can mean that you're going to bring Saturn in from the outside. You're going to bring something from out here that represents authority that you've got to cooperate with. It could be the authority is a duty. It could be the authority is a responsibility. It could be that the Saturn is an authority person. Or boop, you're the Saturn and you're telling the Virgo energy that's projected to stop, or you're being the authority, or you're putting the restraint on. You're creating the boundary. Either way, the boundary is either happening to you or you are happening to the boundary. Okay, so that is in the air of this eclipse. And combine that with a grand trine, which is communication, which is understanding, which is enlightenment. Why is it enlightenment? Because Uranus and Pluto are not going to take standard information protocol. So Pluto and Uranus are going to offer you a breakthrough. Pluto and Uranus are going to give you a chance to crack open your little mind and let information pour in and possibly help you change a worldview. And if it's happening to you, it might just be happening to the world, because it is happening to all of us. How we do it, who knows? Now, what can you do about it? I say nothing, really. Be you, be open. You can't, if my little word said, if I said to you, just be open, and that made a difference, and you go, okay, Mark said be open. Oh, look, I'm enlightened. I'm looking at world differently. That would be amazing. But I don't think it works that way. I think you're going to be open because you're ready to be open. I think you're going to learn something new because you're open to be learning something new. And you know what else you can do with the Grand Trine? You can shut it all down. You can stick to your values that you hold. You can stick to what you know to be the truth. And you can hold it really tightly to yourself and shake it out. Not move. That's choice. You really get that choice. It's just up to the time period. So to say the planets are happening and this is what's going to happen, kind of silly when you think about it, right? But if we say you watch it to see where you are and what choice you made on some unconscious level, some subconscious part of you, now you can have the will to be open. You can have the will. Some of you, I've talked to people this week, they have no will to be open. They have no will. They know what they know, and that's where they're keeping it, okay? And we're keeping in our zone, and it's okay. But you can choose that, and that's okay. It's just where you are. There's no right way to do this. Now, let me check on you guys real quick and see how you're doing. The way I can check on you and let you check on you is by putting it up on the screen. You probably can see this if you're in the room. Love this conversation, and I noticed the message on your tee, laughing. I love my shirts too. I've been having a good time with my shirts, you guys. Thank you. I wrote the t-shirt company and said, hey. We'll see if they respond. Saturn in Cancer, yes to sensitive. Whoa, yeah, I love it, Carla. Barbara, good day, Barbara. Yeah, welcome, hon. Grand Trine in Air, be curious, absolutely. And Esther, really interesting. Hi, Esther. Good to see you. Thank you for being in the room. That's so sweet. I know that this isn't easy for all of you. Saturn return just keeps getting better, says Shelley. You know what, you guys? My second Saturn return was the best thing that I think ever happened to me. Now, I'm a different person than you. Obviously, I'm going to experience it differently. I have Saturn in Scorpio. But it was a form of saying no that I had never experienced before. It was like understanding what true freedom is. Okay? Understanding what true freedom was in a way that I had never known before. And I was more boxed in than I ever was. Like, money was tight. And I realized how much of me is extended to accommodate things I didn't want to accommodate anymore. And it's been amazing. I hope the same is true for you and your Saturn return. Now, your first Saturn return, you don't see it sometimes in the same way, because I remember I came to Denver and I was unemployed. I was working at a landscaping job. I cried a lot. I had no idea of life purpose. I just didn't know what I was going to do. I listened to a lot of Louise Hay, did a lot of praying because I was empty. I just didn't know. I was a minimum wage job. It was horrifying. And I remember this moment. There was the guy came in who owned the landscaping company. No, that owned the property that we were landscaping. There were only 3 of us, and it was freezing. It was becoming winter, and I remember snow. It was the light snow had come down, and we had just mowed and got the yard, the whole property ready. And he came in and looks at me and he goes, "There's poop out on the deck. Go get it." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and got it. And I remember saying a little prayer, a little snowflake came down. I romanticized it. I did. But I remember saying, "God, please, there's got to be another way." And I got my job with the state like a week and a half later. It was crazy. Okay. So those moments are so pivotal and they're so important. And this could very well be one. This eclipse coming up. This could very well be one. Now, what I wanted to do is bring you back to the chart and put your rising sign on there and talk about the energy that's going to affect you based on the rising sign. Now, if you know your rising sign, just listen to it as a rising sign. But if you don't, listen to this as if it was your sun sign I was talking about, because it works energetically really well, this system. And you can do both, but we're going to go through and see how we're doing. Let me see how y'all are. Saturn in Virgo in the 9th, Jupiter 29 degrees. In Gemini in the 3rd, I love it. That's a square. That anytime Jupiter is touched, you got to look at that. In the 3rd house, absolutely can be siblings. It can be immediate environment. I got the book out. I got the book out. You can see it here in my little Kindle, helping me give keywords to the houses. And we'll go over what the 3rd house is. But basically, the concrete mind, the left brain and right brain process, how we use our mind, exploring immediate environment, naming and classifying things, the discovery of relativity. We're going to have fun, you guys. Let's do this, okay? So let me bring the chart on. I will always see your comments, even though I'm not on the screen. So let's get the big monitor up. I'm going to change this to hours, and then we're going to put Aries on the rising. I want to make it an equal house system. So we won't get any intercepted houses. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it already was. Okay, good. That's what I thought I did. And then let's get Aries up there, and let's just look at how, there it is. So let's hone in on this. This is Aries rising, and if you're an Aries rising, this will apply to you. If you're an Aries sun, this can really apply to you. Now just ignore the moon and let's just pretend everything's at 28 and 29. This is where it's going to look. Now, if I let me just bring in some other planets. We can slowly look at this. Here's Mercury. Mercury's right there, but not important. There's Venus in Virgo. There's Mars in Libra. Let's leave that out. Yeah, I think we're good. There's Chiron. Yeah, we're good. So in this fun way to do it, I think it's like visually you can see here, if you're an Aries rising, this stuff is going to take place basically or essentially in your 6th and maybe, in your 6th and maybe your 5th house. But it looks like it's hovering around the 6th because it's so late. The Virgo rules here the 6th, so it's your 6th house. Here's what we know about the 6th. I'll just read you some of the things. It's refinement of and differentiation of the self. Characterizing the self by how we differ, reducing things to parts, why you wake up in the morning. Like, this is the house that if you won $1 million, if you won $1 trillion, you're now the richest person in the world. You went around the world, you bought your yachts, you managed it, you're done. You did all the things you can do. You've seen the world, okay? You took 5 years and had a ball. Why do you wake up now? What's your purpose? That's a lot of what this 6th house energy is. What is my purpose? It's about being connected to the body and the mind. It's about what you eat. It's about your health. It's about staying fit mentally. It's about your rituals and routines. This is a great time to look at dietary stuff. Saturn in the 12th basically is saying if that the outside authority will either help you maintain that. There's strength here to maintain the decisions that you make here. Let's just look at it that way. Saturn's going to give you the strength to do the changes. All right. That's Aries. Let's look at Taurus. Taurus, yours is landing squarely in the 5th house. Virgo will rule the 5th house typically if you're a Taurus, Taurus rising, Taurus moon. You can apply this to yourselves too. So basically in the 5th house, and I'll read you some of the professional things that the 5th house does, the urge to distinguish ourselves as unique and special. Like it's the Leo house. Think about that. The urge to expand and extend territory, the desire to be central, to be important in the middle of something. The ability to produce. This is a very fertile placement, okay? Even though Virgo's there, it's a very fertile place. Remember, Virgo is in the archetype, the nun or the whore. I'm sorry for the words, that's just the archetype, but it's, you get the point of it. It's either being completely purist or completely unrestrained. And that duality exists in the Virgo energy. Recreation, romance, the joy we feel when we're being loved. Children, the big one for children. So let's look at the eclipse in the moment for that. Now the opposition is Saturn is saying, let's solidify this. And I just want you to think about that. Whatever I'm saying, Saturn is like, what outside force is going to help me solidify this? What's the push from the outside? Okay, let's move it to, we want to cover all 12. So I'm going to keep going, but I will check out your questions. Good morning, Mark. Energy is heavy this morning, but holding still light. I'm a Scorpio rising. Oh, hang in there. Watch me. It is. Hang in there. I get it. It was heavy this morning. Energy was heavy. I have definitely felt the catharticness of the time period, but that, what you do, this is a great imagery for me. I hope it can help you. I'm a roller coaster junkie and I never go on them. But I do those YouTube videos in third person. Buckle in. And then look at life at the low valley. Like this is the heavy moment. We're looking at it. We're observing it. This is what heavy looks like. This is heavy. And let that observer really bring you out just long enough to like, oh yeah, I'm looking at this. And this is what feels heavy about it. It's heavy in my chest. It's heavy in my heart. It's heavy in my head. That kind of thing. Okay. Observe. All right. Let's do Gemini. And y'all don't forget about that grand trine. Okay, Gemini, you are the grand trine here. You all are flipping out in such an interesting way. This is ideas that are rolling. This could look manic-y, but it also, because it's part of a grand trine, it's the kind of mental energy that changes things. That it can be different, unique. It brings you into a different kind of circumstance. Okay, it's you want to break down some of your old habits and routines that you've been in and pop open into a new kind of reality, a new kind of memory. This is in your 4th house. So this is very personal. This is you really changing the ideology that you've been holding on to, Gemini. It is time. Get deep, get real, bring it home, and then shake up what you need to shake up. But you don't have to do anything. Let your mind just open up. Let the affirmation be, I'm open to what comes in. And let me tell you what comes in. Whew, Lord, it's such a part of flow and the grand trine that it will be interesting to see what you've made your Saturn. Like, where are you the Saturn or did you bring it in? Let's take a look at that. Okay, let's move on to Cancer. This puts it in your 3rd house. This is siblings. This is caregiving. And we talked about 3rd house before, but listen to this. Here's some of the keywords. I talked about the concrete mind or left brain processes, naming and classifying things, the general context to which we view the immediate environment. I want you to think about that. What does it look like when you look at your neighbors, when you look at your home, when you look at your office? Because it could also be coworkers and colleagues, right? Siblings, what are they like? What are we projecting onto them? What was your relationship to them? Virgo would suggest you either were an only child or you were one of the caregivers of the family, the super service one. Took care of yourself, went and read, took your books in the corner. Early school experience, all forms of communication. This could be writing. This could be making sure that you keep journal notes. Yes. Oh, hi, Lori. Yes, I'll see everyone after Cat. Pamela, think I need to observe. I really do a lot of pondering. The pondering is great, but you observe the pondering. You're always observing. You don't stop pondering. Remember, it's not either or. The observer just notices, I'm pondering, and you're doing that. I say nothing else you need to do. Leo, this is your second house, self-esteem. Let's read the what they talk about in the second house. The differentiation of the body from the universal matrix of life. Like you're noticing you have a body in the second house. He's just talking about like from the first house, you're born, and then you notice, oh, I'm separate. I have something here. The awareness that the mother's body is not our own. Our innate wealth, inherent faculties or capabilities that we develop, things that we attach ourselves to, what we possess or hope to possess, money and the material world. This is the Taurus house. So it's about finances. It's about my value. How do I value myself? Saturn opposing that might bring challenges to that, but it also might make sure that you solidify and bring strength to that energy. So second house eclipse for you, Leo risings, Leo suns, Leo moons, just add this to the whole story. And then how you, where you're looking to see that you're okay, how you bring that information into your being. Virgo, this is your eclipse. So there's an increase of mental energy, no doubt about this for you, but it would be so neat for you to see, where is the critic? Where is that critic happening? Is it external? Is it internal? Is it everywhere? And this one is really important for you to bring up the observer, to see what you're doing and where. Like, oh, look at me, I'm just like beating the hell out of myself, or I'm just beating the hell out of this person, or I need to be alone, or I want to go out. Watch it, see it. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. I know we want to do it right when we have that Virgo energy, but it really will be about how you're coming out into the world. You're going to feel the opening. Let's see what happens this week as it unfolds. Libra, this puts it all in the 12th house, but also you're part of that grand trine in air. So the 12th house is where the wisdom comes when you stop the outside world from showing up. Okay, you come in a little bit. It's the 12th house energy. Now, if we look at what the key words for the 12th house are, we see things like the yearning to return to original state of unity. It's kind of like they talk about in meditation and prayer, service to others, a belief in God, influences or causes from sources we don't always remember. Like, this is a time for you to sort of like bring in wisdom. Like, what is it that this is a time where you ask, what do you want me to know? Ask your higher self, ask God, ask wherever you turn, what is it that you want me to know? The 12th house is very powerful because the grand trine is 9th, which is teaching, and the 5th, which is children, which is learning, which is openness, which is personal identity. Okay, so that's Libra. Scorpios, this puts it in your 11th house of friends. If you're a Scorpio rising, Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, what is going on with the friendships? What is going on with your interactions with people? Are they changing? Are you becoming more alone? Are you weeding and sorting out? It's a big time of change for that. It's also a big time. Let's talk about the official word on the 11th house, groups, like-minded people. That's why they call it friends. Circle of friends, the nature of groups, the identification of something larger than the self. Like, this is such an opportunity, Scorpio risings, for you to really feel connected, and Scorpios and Scorpio moons, to be connected to where you fit in. What is your group? What is the part of you that holds ideals that you hold? And let's see how that grows for you. Sag, this is so important. It's the 10th house for you. It's your public image. It's your persona. What is my purpose? Where is that arrow that I shot up in the air? How am I following it? And what is the duty and responsibility that I need to bring with me in this? That's Saturn opposing it. Because you're part of the grand trine, it is all about that information. It's about using it. It's about spreading your wisdom, sharing what you know. But it might also be about taking that leap to be something that you've been wanting to be. And Capricorns, so important because Saturn is the ruler of you. Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon, 9th house, teaching, education, learning. Higher education, lower education. What are you doing with learning and travel? Well, it could be travel, but I do think really this 9th house for the eclipse is going to be about this part of us that is on a quest for understanding and searching. It's a seeking of the truth. So it's fun, Capricorn. Like, this will be so cool. What pulls you forward? Viewing life at a distance, travel and long distance journeys, the dissemination of ideas, teaching, philosophies, anchoring them in. Such a powerful new moon for this. And then Aquarius, we have Okay, you're part of that grand trine in air, and this lands in your eighth house. It's so fun because eighth house is other people's money, but it's also, listen, how we fare financially in our business partnership, relationships for catalysts for change, destroying old ego boundaries, letting somebody else in, whether you're going to do that or not. Saturn is going to like question, what is the intimacy level you're having here? What are you learning? How much have you held on to some ideal that you need to change or let go of? That's the questions in the eighth house, looking below the surface of things. It has to do with like really facing death, but death, the kind that's sort of like the death of what into transforming into the birth of something else. And lastly, Pisces, yours is in the seventh house, and the seventh house is literally the understanding of others. It's like the cooperation and the collaboration of people in your life. So this is pulling you, ironically, because Virgo is kind of the loner, pulling you toward other people and the question of your relationship and what you're up to and what you are doing. And I do think friends are going to be involved in this. Look at the 11th and the third house trine. Okay, let me see how you all are doing. I know that's a lot of information. Okay, let's bring you all back. Okay, so I have Neptune at 29 Libra. The sun is at 23. Pluto 29 Leo. Thanks, Denise. Okay, so you have a lot of 29, don't you, Debs? Okay, so Neptune at 29 Libra. Okay, so that's, yeah, and so the eclipse is going to miss that. Pluto at 29 Leo. Okay, and the midheaven in Aries. Yeah, no, those are great, Deb. The Neptune and the sun are really close together. That makes you Pisces, like it makes you a total psychic. It opens you up to the needs and the desires of other people, but also how to meet people, like how to get what you need from people. It's very powerful. The eclipse for you, then you are midheaven, let's see, the midheaven is Aries, so the eclipse probably for you is going to be Libra, is that right? Let's see. We put Cancer. You're probably Cancer rising, most likely. Maybe it depends on your time. Either way, that means that the eclipse is at the lower part of the chart, so it will have to do with your environment and the people in your life. So yeah, that's great. And let's see. And I know Karen has her birthday coming up, so if we look at the 19th, which I could, let me do that with you all. So we'll bring the 19th and just look in general. Yeah, the moon will be in, the moon will be in Virgo then too. So you're going to have like a new moon in Virgo. You're going to have the solar return chart, probably, Karen, with that eclipse setup with the grand trine and also the eclipse setup with Saturn. So I do think it is about you getting a structure that you love, and you're finally like whatever you're fed up with, like getting that taken care of. Virgo moon with the sun for your solar return is kind of amazing for sorting it out and finally like enough, using Saturn to build that bridge. It's so nice that Saturn's in opposition. You want that. You want that collaboration because it will create an energy that's bigger than the individual whole. Let me take a breath with you guys. Taurus rising, Aries sun, Gemini moon. I'm eager for a new and great weekend. So yeah, Taurus rising, Annie, just so we can look at some of these specifics again, but if you're Taurus rising and a Gemini moon, and she's an Aries sun, so that's in the 12th. So that is fun. That's going to be the 5th house, and that's going to be where a lot of that energy takes place on you having fun. You're in Florida now. It's putting yourself in what your interests are, getting that creative energy flowing, very powerful, and also taking a look from a better perspective of what you're wanting to learn. You're always learning something, and this grand trine in air is going to fit that moon really well. It's a powerful time, you guys. Plus, that's this week. And we have what's happening after that. Monday is the equinox. I'll be back with you to talk about that, but that's the night and day are equal. That's like the first day of fall. Right after that eclipse, we go into the equinox, the autumnal equinox. We're going to talk about it, but it also, listen, these changes are gigantic. So we had an eclipse. We had a new moon at 0 Virgo. Now we're having an eclipse at 29 Virgo. We're cleaning a lot of this Virgo energy up. If you all go back in time to the last new moon, and I can tell you when it was Friday the 22nd of August. If you can go back in that moment, that was the first Virgo new moon. Now we're having it as an eclipse. You could probably piece together a theme in your life. So this won't be unusual, but this will be a closure of some kind. I can feel it. I mean, I hope you guys can. Sag will be closing on Mom's house this week. And Scorpio rising about circle of friends helping new neighbors. My home is next to Mom's. Oh, wow. You're welcome, Jennifer. Thank you. Denise, that's powerful. Hi, Dorothea. Dorothea's you got to have a birthday coming up too, right? You guys are like, yeah, Dorothea probably knew Lori Williams. Back in the day, we had our classes together, and it's so much fun. It was so lovely. So Virgos are getting something that they haven't had in a long time. It's kind of a break. This eclipse at 29 is basically all the energy of Virgo coming together, being supported by Saturn, and allowing you guys to sort of see very clearly all 29-degree aspects of yourselves and the world around you. This is a time of great support. And wherever it is in our charts, same thing. It gets to see that bigger picture. That's that Virgo nuance of what we're doing. This is big. I mean, it's kind of big. I downplay it as like keywords and things like that. But if you use this to see where you're at in life from a bigger picture, from the overview, like where am I? Where am I? What's going on? What's been happening? What's going on around me? There's changes that are rocking our world. And I'm talking about in your personal world. Forget the outside world. There's always that. Your personal world, there's changes. And what we do to survive those changes is we deny them. We try to go ahead of them and get super prepared, like we know what's going on. Sometimes we do everything but the one thing we really should be doing. And I'm not like, I mean, what do you think it is? I think it's this. I think it's like having a trust that we connect with a part of ourselves that is bigger than it, and learn how to have the voice ready to go. Let me just tell you this, you guys. If we're just getting through and changes happen, and we're like, some of you are helping your moms move and selling things and helping people who are sick and taking people to the hospital and getting on call, all that stuff's going on. And we do that as like some of you do it as a course of life, just like that's what you do. But along the way, you're building, and you need to build, and we want to build this little thing in here that says, am I seeing myself okay? Do I take a breath from the judgments and the criticism? Like, the world's a crazy place. Yeah, we can do that if you want. We can talk about that. But can you take a minute and just come in and say, how is this connection here going? Like, if something bad happens, am I going to lose it? Am I going to be okay? Will I reach in and grab the hand of the part of me that's terrified? Will I have that strength to do it? There's a thought that when we die, that the consciousness stays. Okay, there's one school of thought. And how awake we are and how familiar we are with that unconscious part of us is the degree we get to be conscious. If we've exercised a little bit of awareness, of self-awareness. Otherwise, we just do what we do. This cycle is one asking us, because the thing about Virgo, she got offended, Estrella, the goddess, got offended at what was happening in the world and left. I've had people leave my broadcast, 4 of them Virgos that I remember right off the top of my head, because of that offense. Like, you offended me, I'm out. That energy. You spoke bad words, I'm out. I can never understand you, I'm out. Those kind of things, that's okay. That's life out here. But what about in here? Because if you're doing that out here, are you rejecting components of yourself that you might see and not like? And will they ever be able to get inside? Will you ever be able to fully bring you in? if you can't tell yourself the truth, or if you can't sort of like accept whatever, because that's where it starts. And I think that we have to build some of that. See, I think what we do, if we don't have that in here, we do it out here. Like, I'll be a good person for this guy and I'll be a good person for the, that kind of thing. We project it. And that's fine. That works really well. But we still need to build that muscle, the body memory of, if things are going to fall apart in your life, if they're going to fall apart, are you there to catch it? Are you there? You got a voice inside? I had friends who, were going through a lot of pain a few months ago. And I remember saying, you need to deal with this on a personal level inside. And I was mean about it. I was angry about it, because I knew this is just, you don't know what to do. And so you're doing this, you're grieving and you're crying and you're hurt and you're mad and you're angry, but you're not doing anything here. You're not bringing it home. And we have to practice that. We have to learn that. We have to teach that. They don't give you time off. Life doesn't give you time off to do your grief. Sometimes you have to carry it with you. You have to know what's going on there and use it, or your anger or your hurt. Okay, so that's what I think this eclipse is about. That's the service that I think the eclipse is asking us for. At least that's what I'm using it for. A chance to strengthen that voice inside that says, okay, like, I can be offended out here if I want. That just makes me look righteous, right? That's just, what's offense mean? What's offense mean? I'm offended. You've offended me. Okay. Like, that has nothing to do with, you are about to face your life with yourself, and you want to feel that insane support inside and pull it in from out here. Okay, I think you know what I'm talking about, but I want to emphasize that this is the Virgo lesson. What did Virgo teach us? Service, order, compassion, understanding, like literal. And it's not all happening out here. Okay, you use out here to bring it home and see, okay, how am I doing? Check in. Dang, oh, you're so very sweet. Thank you all so much for your compliments. Dorothea, Sag rising, Virgo sun, moon, and Scorpio in the 12th. Sag rising, yeah. So again, when we're looking at putting this, I'm putting Sag on the rising sign. When we're putting the eclipse in the chart, it's very much the top part of the chart. It's what my purpose is, how I see the reflection of who I am. If you're a Sag rising, that eclipse is my home, my duties and personal responsibilities home, and what am I projecting out here to the world. And the 10th house is also like the values of mother, the values that we inherited from her, and to see, like, bringing those together in like my public persona. What am I doing when I go out in the world? See, Virgo is very complicated about, it's a dualistic sign. Because on one hand, it wants to be right. It wants to hold dear everything that is good and true. And on the other hand, it wants a moment to go dirty things up so they can have fun and then clean it, be done. And we're going to be battling, in a way, cooperatively, those two forces. And that's what we're going to use to wake up and to feel good and to have a week that's going to be amazing. And this week is going to unfold toward that. Okay, so if you're feeling a little down as the week goes on, I want you to remember that it pops on Sunday, and then we're going to be back on Monday to talk more about it, okay? You guys, thank you so much for being with me. Kat's show is up next. I usually have the link to give you, and some of you do. Let me just get it. I'll put it up real quick for you, so you can just hop right over there. I should have had it ready, but it's right here because Serena is so good about getting her show put up front and center, and I think it would be really... helpful to check it out and jump right in. Here it is. I'm going to give you the link. I'm going to send you the biggest hugs I could ever send. I so appreciate you guys for being a part of my life and part of what we do. I'll be here next week to play even harder. Thank you so much, you guys. Happy eclipse. Thank you for all you do. Take care now.